Hey, Warrior Saints, happy Tuesday. Welcome to today's edition of our Crucifixional live stream on this beautiful, fabulous, and wonderful Taco Tuesday. I don't know. I might have tacos later, now that I've mentioned it. It's Taco Tuesday. Sounds like something that sounds fun. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know where everything's going to go today because I'm a little bit at the end of my rope. I'm going to talk to you about why. This is kind of going to be a cathartic Crucifixional live stream for Greg. As Father mentioned the other day, I think yesterday, we are in the midst of this convention planning. We've got this souvenir journal that we're working on, and not everyone got everything in on time. It went to the printers. We're going back and forth with the printers. And, at some point, I'm not a graphic designer, so I don't always know what needs to happen and where and how everything works pieced together. And so we during the process, before we finalize it, and at this point everything is finalized, it's at the printer, it's done, it's out of my life. But, yesterday morning was extremely stressful because this is something that I have now taken on, but I don't really know what I'm doing, but I still have to work within the framework that they need to work with so that everything's working the way that it needs to work, because ultimately we got to get it to work because we got to get her done. And I had to redo every single file. Not like completely redo it, but I had to adjust something in every single file, which is every single page, because every single page is its own file. It was just a lot. But you know what? I took it on. I said this is something that I am willing to do. And so in order to do it, because I owned it, I had to make it happen. There were no excuses to be made. There was no opportunity for me to say, well, I'm not a graphic designer. Maybe, let's just throw our hands up in the air and you figure it out. There was no passing off the buck. It was the grit, the grind, the just buckle up, buttercup, and get her done. Do what you got to do. And that's ultimately what it means to own it. Father said yesterday, this is excuses week, and that we're done with making excuses. I'm not going to make excuses about why this is not fair and this is blah, blah, blah. There's no time for that. There's no time. If I took the time to sit and whine and wallow about how it wasn't fair that I had to redo everything and that I had to redo this and that and I had to do all this extra, then the work wasn't going to get done. In essence, no excuses also means or owning it, I should say, means not wasting the time whining about it, but just making yourself move into action, making it happen, doing what you've got to do. And that's ultimately what we're always trying to teach when we teach these lessons about excuses and how we shouldn't have these excuses, right? At some point, if you are owning it, if it is yours, then it's yours. And it's yours alone. It's the same thing when we talk about parenting. My wife and I had this long conversation the other day. Our job is to raise our kids, right? That's our job, my wife and mine. We have that responsibility. We have to own it. We can't shirk off that responsibility, passing it off to someone else, expecting them to raise our kids, and then thinking that they're going to raise our kids the way that we want our kids to be raised. It's not how it works. If you're going to raise your kids, then you got to raise your kids. If you're going to take on that responsibility, you have to own it. And owning it means not wallowing in excuse making, but seeing it through all the way. Seeing it through, making it happen, and getting it done. That's what ownership means, because it's yours. And if it's yours, or in this case, it's mine, then I'm the only one who's responsible for making that happen. I might have others help me along the way, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we need that help. Sometimes I might call a friend who is an actual graphic designer and ask them what these terms that are being used mean. Or I might be open with the printer who says you need to do X, Y, and Z, and I'll say, I don't know what those words mean. It's okay. I don't have to know what those words mean because I don't have to know everything. I can own that I'm not sure of what's going on. And then I can get the help that I need so that I can get the job done. Because once I've owned the job, then I got to get it done. And sometimes that means we need the help. And that's where we come in too. we're here to help you along the way. If you need a little extra help, if you need a little bit of extra, I don't know what those words mean. We're here to help you figure that out. That's why we always tell you, visit us at warriorsaints.org, subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. Because we're looking at how we can own it. We're fighting through owning it. Like, believe me, when I tell you we're fighting through trying to figure out how to own it, my desire was to sit in the corner of my office stunned, like not sure, and let that crushing feeling take me over of, I don't know how I'm going to get all this done in a timely manner. But because I owned it, because I fought, I had to fight through it. And because it's mine, I did it. I fought through it. I made it happen. And I want to help you figure out how you can do that same thing in your life. That's why we're always pushing. Because we're here for you. warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. We will be back again tomorrow. We can't wait to see you. And until then, you keep walking on the Way of the Warrior Saint.